unless you're pushing the first team like regularly, I feel like you've just got to experience men's football because it changes your perspective on football.
Another year this year at Scarborough. I know obviously there was certain clubs looking at you at one point, and I know you've touched on it before. I know you did a radio appearance not long ago.
Yeah.
Last week. And you actually said like you'd even think about it.
Everyone's talking about it.
I was like, look, Scarborough are brilliant, but definitely all over Barcelona. Right, welcome back to another episode of the Game Within the Game podcast. Obviously, delighted to bring this one to you. A lifelong mate. He's been a great player of mine as well throughout my coaching career. We've got a really good bond, good relationship. His career is, I think, brilliant as well for youngsters to listen to and get ahead of and really take in as well. And that is Jack Waldron. Nice to see you, pal.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you, mate. All right, great to have you in. Obviously, so we'll start off I just wanted to sort of like get you in, obviously, for this one. Obviously, your career is, been very special in my eyes, I think, because obviously you've had a massive influence on me as a coach. I know we've got that really good, relationship. And I just thought, obviously, I would get you down, talk about your career a little bit, talk about your life, how you've got into your football and things like that. So we'll start off with that, obviously. So, obviously, a little introduction of yourself, what got you into footy and where you're at the minute.
So, as he said, my name is Jack Waldron. I'm 19 and football, when I was a baby, hated it. Used to pick the ball up with my hands, run off and cry. Never enjoyed it. My mum and dad was starting to think, I don't think this is for him, because my dad loved it. He had a chance of going pro, which his experiences himself taught me how I am now. But and then one session, I think I was with one of my first ever coach, Roger Wood, who was an ex-pro. I'll always remember him. And he said to me, come down for a session, see how it is. So I did it, got a player of the training session, played one game, scored, I think, 7 goals my first ever game. United and Wednesday scouted me on that game. And then since then, it's just gone from there. Yeah,
just gone off from there. Like I say, I think from when you've, obviously, it's quite a unique experience in it as well, like not having that love for football, I suppose. So like when you look back at, obviously, when you first started, like, and you had them sessions, did you realise quite early on that you had it in you to maybe go quite high up?
It's weird. Like when I was a kid, I never really thought about it like that. I just enjoyed playing. As cliche as it sounds like, I never thought about the pros and cons of being a footballer. And I think it's when I went to the United development for the first time, because we had to, when you're 5 or 6, you have to do a session there or two to see. And after my first session, they just turned around and went, don't bother coming back, just go straight to academy. And that's when I think it clicked a bit when I was a young kid, where I was like, right, I've got a bit here.
Yeah. So what age was that again? Just so I know.
Under-6s.
You've been at United quite a long time.
Since I was basically born.
Yeah. I know it's been a long time, like I said, because I know from talking to you that you've been there quite a while, which has been like I say, it's a great thing to have that, I suppose, experience. And what do you think, like, I suppose, just on academy sort of things as well? From that young age, what would you say, again, to them youngsters? Because I think, obviously, it's a massive thing that I want to do here is bring a bit of life towards, like, the life of a youngster. What do you think's changed over the years with the academy and how the training is now and things like that? And do you think, I suppose, it's different to how you was to it is now? Like, how's it developed over the years?
I've always said, when I'm a parent myself, I want to get my kids into football early, whether that's academy or Sunday league, whatever it is for them. But for me, I think being in academy has definitely made me the person I am. Player, discipline-wise, commitments. I'll never forget one time when I was in primary and my mates had a sleepover and my dad picked me up at 8:30, and his words were, if you want to be a footballer, son, you've got to make these sacrifices.
I think that's a big thing as well. I'm glad you touched on that, actually, because I think from what I know from you and you as a person, I think the biggest thing that I tell people, and I use you as an example a lot, and you know that, but I think your discipline is like probably one of the best things that you've got as a trait. I think you are so driven to a point where you know what you want, and I think that's a really unique thing, because I suppose nowadays, especially, like, so many influences in there. There's different, like you say, you're at an age now where you can go out and have a drink. You're not into that, and I think it just like really epitomises yourself as a person, and your attitude. As soon as I met you, I remember, I'm going to talk about your life a little bit in a minute. But when I met you, that was the first thing what really drew me to you. I was like, wow, this kid like proper wants it, you know. And even from that first 3-1 session when I met you, I just like you stood out like a sore thumb. Which no disrespect to the other two lads, but like I knew you was like proper up for getting there. And I know looking at you now, like nothing's going to stop you. And I think that's a really unique thing. So
yeah, it's definitely growing up playing football my whole life and watching it and supporting Sheffield Wednesday, even though I play for the other side. I think it's all I've ever wanted. Like, it's not even the lifestyle for me of being a footballer. It's just being able to do what I love doing the most and being paid for it. And people dream of that every day. And I've got the dream that I can make a reality.
Definitely. So going on to that, like, what is it you play football for? Do you think, like, again, because obviously I know, like I said there, you as a youngster, it wasn't so much. You absolutely love football first, and it just sort of fell in. You fell into it a little bit by chance. But like, what is it now? What spurs you on? Like, what are you trying to get to? And I think that's some, really good thing to sort of tell the youth if you can. And
of course, I'm not going to hide away from the fact that everyone knows financially it's a very good job to have. But that's just, for me, that's a bonus. Like I said there, for every young kid coming up as well. Obviously, I still class myself as a young kid in football myself, but seeing like how they walk out to pitch, they have songs sung about them. Every time I've won a game, the feeling after it, every time you lose, even the feeling after you lose, the mates you make along the way. I just think it's such a privilege to have being a footballer that not many people can have.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like I said, and that's what I like about, again, I keep touching on your attitude, is you've got that humbleness about you as well, which I really like. So I see a lot of, not going to again point anyone out, but the arrogancy of a footballer sometimes can definitely end up, as a trend, isn't it? Where you look at them and you think, oh God, they're just not nice people, but you are genuinely like the nicest person I've met in football. But also, like, you've got a really good family as well. And I think I'm going to talk to you about that as well, because obviously I know your mum pretty well, and your dad, and I know they're quite avid supporters of you, aren't they? And I know, like, this year and last year we'll touch on Scarborough as well and what that's done for you, but they've just been there from day one, haven't they? And just touch on like how important that is. Do you think the family unit and things? Because I can obviously relate to that as well with my family and stuff. So
they have probably been the biggest people. They've probably made my career more than I have at times, through what they've done for me. And I've always told them when I'm in that pro phase, obviously I'm a pro now, but I mean, like, playing in the EFL and stuff, earning very good money, I'll repay him with all that and just show him how thankful I am. But yeah, I've as much as I don't want to say it, especially to my dad, I know how good he was at football from what I've heard and from little glimpses I remember seeing when I was a young kid. My mum was really athletic, and to be fair, she still is. I'll give her that. Even though they love an holiday now. No, they've probably made me the person and player I am today. As much as I'd like to say it's me, they've driven me through everything, and I could not thank them to enough.
Yeah, and obviously I want to just touch on that as well from my point of view. Obviously, with this sort of podcast, I want it to be relatable for young kids as well, and obviously for parents watching this as well. Hopefully, we can sort of give them insight onto that importance as well, because obviously my brand with RH Private Coaching, things like that, I always touch on the respect to your parents and making sure you're good at, like, even like things like you're good at school, you're good outside of football. I think that's, again, like I said to you there, your attitude and personality it shows that off, and you can tell, even if you didn't know your mum and dad, you can see that family unit would be good. You know what I mean? I think that you really are a family-driven person, and you respect that idea of how important that is. And
I've always said, like, you only get one set of family in your life, and you just got to take advantage of it. And even my grandmother and my nana and granddad and uncles and aunties, every single one of them, I always make sure I make time for, because as sad as it is, once they're gone, and
course, mate,
I want them to see how thankful I am to be part of their family, because they're obviously older than me, and just repaying with all that I've got, my football and my personal life.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, no, it's class, mate, and like I said, that's what I know you as, and I think that's why out of football we get on even really well as well, and that's why I've got a lot of time for you and things like that. So
you're not the greatest, mate.
Just talking about our relationship a little bit then as well. So obviously we met in August 2020, so quite a long time ago now, that, innit? I know. Crazy, really, thinking that way. I do remember that first session, like I say, I know we've touched on it a little bit there, but like I say, you stood out like a sore thumb in my eyes. And again, I know we've just spoke about attitude a lot there, but the ability I think you had at a young age was brilliant as well. And I don't know what it is, and I don't know if you can touch on this as well, but like when I was coaching you, you seemed like you was really technically developed quite early doors. And I think, is that something, and I think a lot of that actually is to do with how much time you put in away from training.
Oh yeah.
'Cause I think that I remember, I'm going to sort of fast forward a bit here, but like COVID, through COVID, you were, I remember when you were telling me, you were training on, I think, Rainbow Forge School, getting cones out. You've got some clips, I looked on your Instagram last night, and you're dribbling through cones, recording yourself. And I think, do you know what though, like, as funny as that is, like, looking at it, because it was crazy time, but like, just shows again that dedication you're putting in. And I just want you to, if you can, touch on like how important that is to, not just while you're at training, but like, again, out of life as well, and out of the pitch, on your own, maybe putting them extra hours in, or even just mentally, just, you know, thinking of the right things again. I know you don't go out, and you do that for a reason, because you're committed. Why is that so important, and why do you think, you know, why did you do that as well?
I think COVID was a special time for me personally. Obviously, it was such a horrific time for everyone, personally, but for me, I just made light of a dark situation. Obviously, I saw it as a time where I could really gain an edge over my competitors, obviously other teams, and really try to push that next level. And yeah, me and my best mate Will Audley, we were dragging each other out on days, and I'll never forget, alluding back to my mum and dad, they were, I think it would come the back end of like the big pandemic part, and I was sat there in the car and I went, I don't want to do this run. And my mum just turned to me and went, you're doing the run. I don't care what you say. Get your ass off that seat and get out and run. And I did the run, and it made me so much more disciplined and motivated, because now I look back at it, I think I've put all that work in.
Yeah.
Why would I let that all go to waste? I gained so much from it. Obviously, like you said, putting cones out, worked on my left foot a lot. And yeah, I just saw it as a big time for me to develop, and I truly believe since COVID happened, I've just gone on from level to level.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I noticed that. 'Cause like I said, I think that were, obviously at the time of COVID, I didn't really know you all that well. I was like probably a year or two into us like knowing each other. And obviously when we first met, I know that session, what we did after that, I remember doing like a one-to-one with you, and we recorded it on remember at Warminster Road, and we did the recording. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
I had the little like wooden board what my granddad
was that when I had white hair?
Yeah,
when I looked like I was fuming on the picture.
The folding trim. We're gonna have to get a picture of that as well. We'll get that up on the screen.
I don't know why I look like that.
That was a brilliant time. I remember that. But yeah, I remember that one-to-one we did, and then after that, we obviously worked together a lot more after, a lot more frequently. But yeah, just moving forward, obviously, I want to talk about as well after COVID, and obviously talking a little bit more about like your life a bit now. So in 2019, obviously, you signed your scholarship. So I know obviously that was probably a big point in your career.
It was huge.
Yeah.
I remember going to the academy, and just me and two other lads got told to go up, and we just got told straight away we signed our scholarship. And yeah, it was quite a good achievement for me, being 14 and getting that.
Yeah, I'm going to say, because that was way before we met, I know. But did that again add some more spur into it? Did you just spur you on even more?
I'd like to say yeah, but I'm very much just focusing on the end goal of making it into the EFL, and obviously everyone dreams of being in the Premier League and stuff, and I just saw it as another stepping stone, and I was like, right, it's good that I've got that, but it's the next part for me. Yeah,
and just talking on goals then, so even though we're on that, is there, like, so I know obviously, like you said there, I'm sort of getting the idea that they weren't really a massively pivotal moment to why you play football.
No.
I know, like, say, your family and you're driven and things like that, and you know that end goal is EFL. Do you set little goals in between? Do you have little targets you want to hit? It's like, I mean, and obviously it's different now because, again, we'll talk about your career in a minute, but you're playing National League North now, obviously, and you've got things like, you want to get assists and goals and put yourself out there a little bit. But is there any targets that you set, even in just training or even in life, like you're like, right, I want to be there, I want to feel this way, or is there anything like you set there?
I'd like to say yeah, because I'm sure every footballer say they set goals and targets, and of course I do set them, like my next goals to be in the National League and then the EFL, which is obviously one of the main goals. But for me, I'm sure people can relate, I'm quite a bad person for that. I don't look at the stepping stones. So my parents, my agent, everyone tells me to look at it, but I always just get too fixated on the end goal, whereas I don't look at the achievements I've made before it. But I'm trying to work on that, but I always believe I'll just.
But like I said, that's not lacked your drive. To be fair, though,
oh no,
like you're so driven towards the end goal. I suppose it's a bit like
probably too fixated on it at times.
Bit too much, yeah. No, obviously conversations we've had on phone and stuff like that. I just know how like keen you are to on it. But I just think it's important. Obviously, we want to get like say that's the message I want to get out in these podcasts is just to sort of show. I think you're a great example of a youth player who really wants to, better themselves. You're not happy just sat where you're at.
Oh, no.
I don't think even if you did get the EFL, and let's say you got League Two, and that's what obviously as a minimum we want to aim for, you want more every time.
100%.
And you want to go as high as you possibly can. And I think that's just again epitomises that mindset what we're putting in. So going back to your career, then obviously just talking about from the scholarship point. So that was in 2019. Obviously I fast forward a little bit here, but June 2021. Talk about England. We got an international debut, didn't we? Under-16. So how did that go? I know you had a few camps before, but I put the June date because that's when you actually officially played for England Under-16s.
So in April, obviously, like you said, I had my first ever camp, which was obviously a very big moment for my first. That was a goal. That was a stepping stone where I was like, wow, where it's not an international fixture, but I'm still involved with my country. And then I was funnily enough, I was on the standby for that fixture, Camp 1. And then sometimes you need a better look and someone pulled out. And they saw how I did against we played Arsenal. So they put me in that one. And I'd like to say I did really well in that game. And mate, that experience was, I don't think obviously barring my EFL debut, I don't think I'll ever experience anything else. Having my mum and dad sat there playing for my country against Northern Ireland, beating them. I'm sure it was 6-0. 6-0. Getting an assist, it was. Came home and my phone was just bombarded with messages. I proper felt like the guy.
I remember it actually. It's quite funny because I remember posting it. But obviously, just talking about the experience as well. I know, like you said there, obviously playing for your country. I can't imagine how good that must feel. But at the same time, what differs do you think as well from that setup to maybe what you had at United at the time? Like how do they differ? Just so that people can get an idea of what that's like as a youth player going in a camp.
It's a lot more pressure based where you're playing with some of the best players in your country for your age, and obviously you do feel a bit nervous because me and mates joke about it, but one of them was obviously Joe Bellingham, and I'm playing next to him, knowing that his brother's Jude Bellingham, so I was a bit nervous with that stuff. But the quality obviously goes up a level, which is expected, but I've always believed I'm one of them with the better players I play with, the better I become as a player, because I learn off them and I thrive off them. But it's every team I've been at, Sheffield United, Scarborough, Basford and England, every single one, the intensity is still through the roof, but I do think England's just another level.
Yeah. Of course it is, and like I say, you're around players who have deserved that as well, and
100%.
They obviously come in and they want to show it off as well. And I think that time, like I said, again, it was another pivotal moment. I think as well, what spurred you on to believe you could do it. I mean, if you get called for England, I don't think it's a bad thing, is it? So obviously that'll definitely give you some confidence going forward. So pushing on, in Jan 2022, I've put here. So you signed your first pro contract. So obviously, I know that's slightly different from a scholarship. Obviously, that confirmed that he was a professional footballer. So obviously, how did that feel? I mean, that's obviously a massive moment, but
it was.
To us, I know
it was quite. I don't know that it was. I felt quite mixed emotions about it because alluding back to the camp after that one, I did one in Loughborough. And then I was on the. They had the Euro qualifiers on standby for.
Right.
And I was in school and I broke my ankle. And I got it, funnily enough, whilst I was injured. So I was a bit like, why have I been given it when I'm not playing? But obviously, Del Gary, the academy manager, saw something in me and I've got on well with him since he gave me my debut. So yeah, I was over the moon, obviously, being a pro footballer. But like I say, the concept was I could have been in the Euro qualifiers and... So I'm never not saying I'm privileged, but it was a bit of a weird moment for me. I was so happy to receive it, and don't get me wrong, I was over the moon, but I've always got that side where I was like, I've missed out on something there.
Yeah,
with
a bit of
you.
a catch-22 kind of thing. Obviously, that leads me on again then nicely to, obviously, that next year you had surgery, didn't you?
Yeah.
So you had surgery on an injury.
The same foot as well.
Yeah.
So that was another one where I was feeling mixed emotions because I was in the 21s when I was in my second year scholar, being played every game, even playing central centre half because they wanted to play me rather than just putting me there. And I was having such a good game, and I fractured my fifth met within about 15 minutes.
Nightmare.
But I'm quite a knob to the physios I'll play on. So I played the rest of the half with a fractured foot, got an assist, and at half time I came off. He didn't even touch my foot. He just looked at it and went,
"Not good,
not good." And then
not like you had to just power through.
obviously, it weren't the best feeling because I was out for quite a few months.
Yeah.
But that was another time where I just bashed the gym out. I always saw an alternative, and I did come back quite big to the point where the coach told me I need to lay off the gym a bit.
Yeah, get too much.
Yeah.
Just going back to injuries though, like, 'cause I think obviously there's a big one at the minute. I know people who are follow United, you know, some obviously do know you like quite well. So obviously being a young player, and people who follow the club really in depth will know what you're about. But also people who obviously don't know you a little bit as well. I was just say from the under-21 level, you've been in there from a very young age, haven't you? So like you've kind of got pushed to 21s at like 16, 17. Yeah. So you've been there quite a few years now. 19, aren't you now?
19, yeah.
Nearly 20.
Nearly 20. I don't even know.
So you've been there a good few years, and just like sort of again, I don't know if that makes it, made a big difference to maybe your thought process. But like, did you feel any? I suppose not pressure, because I know that I don't think that really comes into your repertoire. But like, did you feel an expectation of yourself? Like, as in when you got pushed under 21s, did you fancy the job, or was it a bit of a nerve-wracking one? Because it was around the probably similar time, wasn't it, to when you had your surgery. So you're coming out, you're pretty fresh. Like, say you've been in gym, you've called up to 21s of that year. How did that feel like? Where did you go from there? I'm
quite a nervous player. I've always, a lot of players go out. Obviously, I go out with confidence every game, but I truly believe it's good to have nerves. And sometimes I get really nervous before a game. So at the start, I was quite nervous, but as soon as I got into a game, my confidence just shone through. And I'm quite a nerve-wracking player at times, which a lot of people tell me is a perfect thing to have.
Yeah.
But no, when I got the call up to the 21s and stuff at a young age, after a few games, I was fine again. I was in my own element.
But I think just going away from footy a minute and just talking about that as well with nerves, because obviously, again, like I keep saying about this podcast, I want it to just be a little bit more in depth on your thought process, because I think that's really helpful for youngsters. But I think that's a really important thing, that you are nervous, because it shows that you care.
100%.
And like if you went into a game and again, like we talk about footballers have this probably bad personality, being over arrogant, and you do see that sometimes, don't you, in players, I'm sure, like who you play with, and you're like, God, come on, get a bit more like you're not as good as what you're thinking you are. And I think for you go into a game, and I don't think you should be there. But I know that when you step on that pitch, you gain everything. Yeah. And that's because you want to show your worth. And it doesn't matter what people think, whether they think you're brilliant, you're still going to go out and show it. And I think that's what every game you've approached. Like, and even in training, I say, again, as your coach from the last 5 years, I've never seen someone work so hard as you. And I use that as an example all the time. Like, even though you're fit as a fiddle, you've come off with a sweat. And I think that's again, it keeps saying it, it's epitomising your work rate, your effort. You don't ever go on a pitch and have and again, a training pitch or a pitch, and you've got this sort of big-headed mentality. You're just like, right, I deserve to be here, but I'm like, and that's why it refers to the nerves. Like you're nervous because you're like, I've got to go and show it again. Yeah. And I think every game is a new version of that. Yeah,
I do think for the younger people as well, like a lot of people are now believing that footballers need to be arrogant, and you're seeing like videos of pros who are saying what they were like as players, being arrogant. And I'm like, it's good to have arrogance, which I have a bit of on the pitch when I'm there. Like you said, I know that I
have a bit on you.
I am there, like I can be there, and I'm better than everyone else. But I just think nerves are good to have because, like you said, it shows you care. It's just how you manage them. Obviously, we've had breathing techniques and stuff that help. But yeah, I've come from a very working class side family. Like all my family's worked hard for the money, worked hard to live a good life, and I don't ever want to look at people and be like, "Oh, you're lower than me" or anything. I just go on, think, right, I am here, I can play this, I can play higher than this, but I don't want to be too overly arrogant with it, and that's where my nerves come into it.
Yeah.
Where I think, right, show it then. But it's like I say, 10 minutes into a game, that's when I become a bit nastier on the pitch, and that's when the arrogance comes.
Yeah, and that's for me. It's just like a very level playing field of like say you've got that expectation of yourself, like you know that you deserve to be there, but at the same time you've always got that level of where you're not pulling that too high, and then you're losing your composure. You're being a little bit. And do you know what? Talking from a coach perspective, and again, like I keep saying, I use you as an example. When I train you, when I coach you, every time I see you do a set or even part of a drill, everything you're just given all the time, and you've got like. When I look at you and I have the conversations with you, is what I really like about you, and I think this just leads on nicely to what I do want to cover, which is how kids are coachable, right? And I look at you and I think every single session I've had you will never look down on me and go like, right, you don't know what you're on about. Like you'll take it in, even if you possibly don't agree. But like we have really good convos, and I love how you like come back. And I think, don't get me wrong, like again, I don't want to call some kids out, but you'll see a little bit of like over arrogance to go, oh Ryan, I already know what I'm doing. And then they don't really listen. And I think even like, and I've had that from even as young as 8 and 9, but like when you come, you was already at an academy, you're probably looking at me going, who is he? But like you always bought into it. And I think even, you even like, it's just a nice thing. And I think that's what it made me feel really worthy. And I feel like I could really help you as well because you've got that rapport with me and you're not going, and I think you'll have that with all your coaches. And I think that's why you're very likable because you've got that attitude to go, I'm never going to push out what you're going to say. I might agree, I might not agree, but I'll still work hard no matter what. And I think that's why we've got, so far where we're at. Yeah, we've got a really good relationship on that regard.
I don't even know why I'm taking piss out of you being ginger, because I'm ginger myself. Not wrong with being ginger.
No sun cream, though, he says.
No, I just think like you get from people what you give to people, and I've like I said, even my first session with you, you're not a coach for no reason, and. Like it's when I've done sessions and like I'm with other people and they show the coach a bit of arrogance, and it just doesn't sit well with me because they're wanting to improve you as a player. And even when I don't agree with some of the stuff you say, I'll say it like, I'll be like, well, what do you think to this and stuff? And that's where the chats are healthy and stuff. Whereas players who just like shrug their shoulder and don't look, that's when it doesn't sit well with me because like I said, they're wanting to improve you, and if you show them arrogance, it's like life. They'll just show you a bit of arrogance back because they're not getting what you're giving to them.
That's what I mean. It builds a bond, doesn't it? And that's the thing when I first met you, and obviously over time when we work more together, like every session for you, just I feel really confident and comfortable. Like you don't ever make me feel like, I don't like say I don't know what I'm doing, or even if you don't agree with a drill, we're at a point now where we can just discuss it and we'll go, right, we'll just put that in and we'll chuck some in. Again, I keep touching on it, but like. For the kids that I've coached and even just new kids who are coming into footy, I think talking about your career already, in already up to this point is you're always showing that very humble side of you, and you're a developing side where you're open ears, you take everything in. Because I just don't think, and I'm the same, I like to think that's why we get on, but I think no information is wasted information. You can take as much in as you can, and then you can convert that how you want. But like you say, you've seen players, and that's what we talked about, is who push it away. Kind of creates a bit of a bad environment, and like you said, from your point of view, I think every coach who coaches you would never look at you and go, "Oh God, he's a right hard work coach. He's a right hard work to coach," because you're so easygoing, but you're gonna still stand up and say something. And I think that's such a nice balance to have.
I just think it's like at United, I get on well with all the coaches. At school, I got on so well with all the teachers, and it's like I said, it's tit for tat. If you show your coaches, teachers, whatever, respect and like a willingness to learn, they'll give you everything they have back. So like me and the academy manager Del, we get on so well in football wise, and he wants to give me everything he's got because I show him all the respect that he deserves. And I just think if you don't give people what they deserve, obviously some people get lucky and they still get what they want, but end of the day it'll catch up on you, and you'll get what you're deserving back.
Yeah. I think being a good person is definitely valued, isn't it?
Oh, mate,
I agree with that.
Ever.
Sometimes you're an arsehole. Anyway. Right, going back to obviously where we're at, obviously great combo up to now there. Going into March of 2024, obviously quite a big turning point, I would say this, because I think when I remember it happening, I know you were dead excited about it, but obviously we went to Baseford and had his first proper experience in men's football. So, and obviously up to that point of, being that under 6, under 7s age, going through an academy, and obviously I know, like, again, people maybe on the outside don't understand it, but academy football, again, not to discredit it, but it is a lot different, isn't it? It's a lot more of a, I always said to you, it's not really got it's
more of a development.
Yeah, it's not got the value of, like, because when you're playing in a men's game and you're playing for stuff, aren't you? You're playing for points, you're playing for, monetary value. The club's got value in winning games. You've got fans paying good money. So obviously at that time in March, you got that experience. So just talk to me about Baseford and sort of what that felt going on the pitch for the first time.
I think when it first dwelled on me that men's football is different is when I got my first win bonus of 80 quid in a game and we were all screaming. But no, I'm a massive advocate for players like myself and players coming up to test themselves in men's football as soon as they can, because of course academy football is unbelievable to be in and, like, you get so much development, but I just think it's a whole nother level and you gain so much experience and it can really propel your career from it if you play men's football, because you get the experience of playing for, like you said, money, playing for points, playing in front of fans. And it's not just about developing as a player technically, it's mentally and physically, which I think is just as important as technically as a footballer.
Of course it is, yeah. And the mental approach, obviously, is a lot different in it, because it's like, I suppose, if you're not right mentally, I mean, can you try and touch on like walking out on that first game? What did it feel like? 'Cause I think that was probably a very unique moment when you go out and you're like, whoa, hang on a minute, there's actually people watching here.
It felt weird. It felt very weird. I think the one that hit me the most was FC United. Right. Because I think there were, how many fans were that?
Yeah, they've got a good following, haven't they?
Yeah, and it was non-league day or something. So they sold out.
Wow.
And obviously the stadium's not the smallest. And that was my first time when I was like, wow, this is
mega.
Even though it's not the end goal, but for me, it was a bit like, right, this is what I'm getting into now. And then after that, I just went on leaps and bounds in men's football.
Yeah.
And that's what gave me the taste for it.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's only going to attract you into it more, innit?
Went to clear a ball and I swiped it and they all cheered at me.
You some jip.
Yeah.
So obviously, like I say, that was a good point in you at the time. And I think from then on, like you say, you have just grown since. And obviously, just leading on to that year, I've put down here that you got the Premier League Scholar of the Year as well. So that was, you got the award from on that year.
That was a good one, that.
Very nice. Because you won the Under-21s league as well, didn't you, for United at that point? Because you was like playing a bit of both, weren't you? Obviously, just so people know, obviously it's a youth contract, isn't it, when you go to Baseford?
It's like a youth hybrid loan.
That's it, yeah. So you can kind of play for both, can't you?
Everyone still to this day asks me how I'm, like, with Scarborough, how come you're still playing for United? It's a hybrid loan.
Oh, I know, yeah. Like last year, that wasn't a bit nuts, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So, obviously, Premier League Scholar of the Year, I think, did that award, make you feel any? I know, obviously, it was a nice, you had to dress up, you took your parents, things like that. You had a nice little, like similar to the Man of Mash award, didn't it? That little thing. How did that feel getting that? Did it feel like it was, again, I know, obviously, like you said there, you don't really set yourself goals, but having these little achievements, does it mean something to you? Or does it just purely, is it like, right, EFL is on my radar and I just want that? Do these little things matter?
I'm going to be a hypocrite and say you should always value every award you get and take note of it, but still then I was appreciative of it and I was like honoured to get it, but I was still just fixated on, right, next game. And my mum and dad had to like pull me to the side and be like, right, Jack, just value this award you got, because not many people get this. And one in every Premier League club, because I think United were in the Premier at that point or something. I can't remember how it worked, but my mum and dad had to pull me to one side and be like, Jack, just value this award, realise how special this is for you. And I was still, even then I was still a bit like, I want to play my next match. I want to play it.
Love that. Yeah. And in the same year, obviously back end of the year, just going on a bit quicker here, is you joined Scarborough. And I think, obviously, we're still there now. We'll talk about that a little bit more, because obviously this is, I think, a massive, again, part in your career. I think this has been a really good last 2 years of development for you, especially. But in December, obviously, 2024, you joined Scarborough. Obviously, we moved up a league then as well, didn't we? We went to National League North, obviously playing at non-league level. What's that like? Obviously Scarborough as well, from what I know, obviously when I came to watch you, the following they get at home is really good, isn't it? It's a full town as well who support the club.
The fans are unreal.
Yeah.
That was such a big moment for me. I think that's definitely propelled my career and development so much more. They bring a good following. The players are like not surprisingly, like the outside world sees like non-league as
Yeah,
the
not as
best.
good. Yeah, of course.
Like the level is so good. Like our team is top, and I mean top, and
Playing at the minute, aren't you?
yeah, joint top.
Love that.
But yeah, it was quite a big moment for me because I feel like the gaffer, obviously he played under Sir Alex in the treble, Jonathan Greening, and he's took me in, so that was another manager that I've impressed.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's such a big step for me. I think it's took me to another level, playing in front of more fans, playing against even better players, playing with even better players, doing as well as I did.
Yeah, and because just touching on December, when you obviously first joined, that was a really good month for you. You scored a goal in that month. I always remember like seeing the clip of you scoring it. It's like definitely a fluke, but anyway, we'll take it. But no, it was a nice ball in.
Great finish.
Went in, didn't it? I saw your celebration going absolutely crackers. I thought that was a nice video. We've got the video hopefully what we can show as well. And then in that same month,
I'd rather not.
No, we're definitely getting it on. And then that same month, obviously, you ended up getting Player of the Month as well. So I think that was it shows that determination. I think as well from your side is you've gone there, you've not been. So I think that not to discredit Baseford, but the difference with being at Scarborough I think Scarborough, like even like the social media side of things, and like you got sponsored pretty quick, didn't you, from a local company? Yeah. Loves making his ice creams, by the way. I thought that was brilliant. But like you got quite like I felt like when you went there, people were dead buzzing with you. Like obviously like the fans like really took to you. I know. Oh yeah. But like you was getting exposure from just being put on social media a little bit more than what you probably did at Baseford. And then obviously you started, and again, like you say, you're in front of probably way more fans at home. And you started brilliantly, obviously, like say, getting Player of the Month, but that I think really just propelled you, and you've become a bit of a fan favourite, didn't you, as well? So.
Oh, me and the fans get on like best mates. They love each other. But yeah, playing in front of more fans, obviously, it like spurs me on even more. And obviously, getting Player of the Month in December, that was an award where I did take it in a bit, and I like stopped myself for a sec because my first men's Player of the Month. And it was my first month into the loan, so I've gone there, got the Player of the Month straight away, and then obviously got it again in Feb, and just went from there.
Oh, you smashed it, didn't you? And obviously then just going on to that, you were planned to stay there only for a month, weren't you? And then you ended up getting another month extension. Yeah. And then I've put here that you obviously stayed till the end of the season. So really good season, I would say, on first season. Like I say, I come to watching just from a little input from me. I think that the development that I saw out of you was unbelievable because you like I said, I think the difference of playing...
You mature a lot.
Yeah, well, that were it. I said to you, didn't I, like playing 21s football, as good as it is technically,
you don't get
the atmosphere just doesn't... No. It's just nowhere near the same. I always remember, like I say, when I watched you in academy games compared to that, the difference is just complete night and day. And I think, like I say, it's that value of what a game means at that level, as well as...
Like even blocking a shot in men's football, I just... No discredit to academy football, but it's just... Even blocking a shot, the feel of it is just so different. Players running up to you. Yeah, class. It's mental.
Yeah. And just on that, like, would you, like I say, from a youth perspective, again, like looking at players like that, I know, because I suppose this window, I just want to touch on this a little bit, is from when you got to like 16, 17, I know, like I say, people might look at it and go, well, is academy the place to me? Or would you always advocate for doing what you've done and kind of getting out there a little bit more?
I'm a strong advocate for men's football. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm an academy player at the end of the day.
Of course, yeah.
But
and obviously done loads of good things
academy football for development is the best thing you'll ever do. Yeah. But I feel like as soon as you start getting to an age where you're becoming a young adult, unless you're pushing the first team like regularly, I feel like you've just got to experience men's football because it changes your perspective on football. And the academy know that, and they know how much I love men's football, and they're so good with supporting it because I pester them all the time about getting me good loans sorted, and to be fair, they are on it. But yeah, I'm a strong advocate for men's football.
Yeah. And obviously then, moving on as well, just to that, obviously you've got another year this year at Scarborough. I know obviously there was certain clubs looking at you at one point, and you decided to go back there. Again, I know you've touched on it before, and you did a radio appearance not long ago. Yeah. Like last week. And you actually said like you'd even think about it.
Talking about it.
I was like, look, Scarborough are brilliant, but definitely over Barca. But no, I think that's great because it just shows again like your humbleness as well to your roots as well. Because I think that you've bought into like what the club's about. You can see that in you, and that's why again I keep saying the fans love you. You know you're a player that people want to see be playing. And I think again it just gives you that even more credit of like you want to go and even show a little bit more? Because you've seen obviously where they were in the league, so you haven't gone till only this month, weren't it? Was this month or last month?
This month.
Yeah, so quite recent, and they're flying at the minute, aren't they? And I think, you know what I mean? And for you, it's like, I think that even gets you going even more, because you're like, wow, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah, 100%.
And like they, obviously, like you said, when you joined, you know, the club was doing that well, you're like, I want to go and stamp my mark as well, you know?
Don't get me wrong, like, you want to, like, obviously there were National League clubs sniffing around, and I'm not one to talk bollocks and like say this, like, no offers came in the end. It was just interest. So straight away when I found out it was just interest at the minute and they were just monitoring me, I was like, my first thought was Scarborough, because obviously there were a few National League North clubs that were going, if you don't go National League, we'll take him. And I was like, it's only Scarborough I'm going back to.
Yeah.
And obviously that just happened.
Yeah. And do you think this, again, I know you don't touch on goals too much because you've just got that end goal. Like, what do you want out of this season just for, obviously?
More goals and assists, even more involvements in even more games, so barely being on the bench. Obviously, I weren't really last season, but I literally mean like staying fit, injury-free, impressing even more teams, impressing my own team, and just giving back to, in particular, Scarborough fans, what they give to me and the players. And obviously, just like I always say, just showing my family what I'm all about.
Mega. Yeah. No, it'll be a good season, mate. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, that's where we're up to now. Obviously, with your career, and I think that's obviously, I think your journey's been amazing. I think it's really important that youngsters look at that. And I think the biggest takeaway I have from you, and even you now, like, I think it's so refreshing to hear this sort of story, because you're a youth player, what I really believe has done things in the right way.
Yeah.
You've done it in a way which you've not had to, again, show any disrespect. You've not like tried to barge your way through, if you like. You've just proved yourself.
Yeah.
And you've done it in a way where people, you're obviously an hard worker, and on a pitch, I know I put some tackle in. I was not scared of one of them. But like, you just off it, and people who are helping you're very humble with, and you're very join me in the journey instead of pushing things out and going, no, I don't want you. Like, every single person who wants to help you let in, and I think that's such a nice, like, trait to have. You know, well, not nice, I won't even say nice, I think it's an essential trait to have to get to where you want to be.
Even my girlfriend tells me about, funnily, if we're tackling, like, when she has a go at me for not being nasty enough on the pitch, we do argue about it a lot, but even there I'm like, I'll just listen to you and I'll just take it in. As much as I want to argue about with you.
Nice one. So, right, just obviously that's your career, and obviously we're in a great position with that, and obviously, like I say, I'm really looking forward to this year, so hopefully, and seeing you grow. Got a few questions for you. So, first one is, I wanted to talk to you about, obviously, I know your mentality is a big thing for you. 3 tips from you of like, or 3 main go-tos to creating this sort of like elite mentality. Like, could you give a pointer on to sort of what's helped that, or like I say, what do you do? 3 tips, hopefully, if you can.
First tip, I'd say, do not care about what other people are doing, your mates and stuff, as nasty as it sounds. So, like, if they want to go out night clubbing, go and have, like, when you're younger, sleepovers. If you want to become a footballer, you've got to sacrifice that. And it's like I say, your true mates are the ones that stay with you through it, and just respect that. Second tip, I'd probably say, do more than the rest, like, as cliche as it sounds. And third one, which I don't do, like I've said, is set yourself mini goals and enjoy every step, which I'm struggling to do, but I'm working on that every day.
I think you do, though. Like I said, knowing you over the years, I think you do always have I think maybe you don't write it down as such, but I think your mini goals all the time is just to be better every single time you're out there. And I think that's still a goal in itself. I know you've got this big target, but like, again, every time I see you train, even like this Monday, like, I know for you, it's just like you'll come down and you'll put an extra in, but like, you don't train like it's just a walk in park. You train like you want it every single session. I think that goes without saying how important that is. You know what I'm like with you, and I'm just, that's why we get on, because we match intensity, and my coaching never, hopefully you've seen that as well yourself, I've never dropped my level with you. And I've never gone all like really over casual, or it's not been a intense session. It's always about, right, let's just get the most out of this hour. And like, every time you come or even play, I see that in your game. I can't even remember the last time you've had a bad game. You won't play sometimes technically great, but your effort level is never not there. You're never Mardy, you know what I mean? You don't walk about with face on, you know what I mean? I think that's a really good thing.
As much as I've given 3, that is an essential one that you've just said there. Like, my coaches always say it about me, and they say it's such a good trait. If you always aim to be every game 7, 8 out of 10s, obviously you'll get your 10 out of 10 games, but don't aim to just be a 10 out of 10 player. Obviously aim for it, but be realistic as well and have expectation. Be like, right, if I'm not going to be a 10 out of 10, I'm going to be a 7, 8, 9, 10 every game.
Yeah.
But it's like you say with the Mondays, like sometimes, obviously, we bang on about like the intensity and stuff. Sometimes I like to show my intensity, but then stay quiet times to see what other players are like. Because
take it in, don't you?
I want to take in what they're seeing and then try help them out. And if they're all of them are top.
Yeah, that's what you do as well. That's what I love about you. Because obviously you've done a little bit of help. You've come down a few times, like you helped with a bit of coaching. You know, you're a great lad in regards to, you know, giving the youth a little bit of insight. I know you've had a few like sort of Q&As with them as well, which has been, again, just epitomises even more what you're about, mate. I think it's great. And just touching on one more thing on mentality, just so I can really cover it, is emotionally, I think you're quite unique. I think I'm going to probably let you in here to something like that. I'm probably not going to tell. You're not going to like, but I think you're quite like, when you play, you're quite emotionless. But I like that about you. You know, I think it might be inside, but you're very good at not showing that. And I want you to sort of explain if you can, because again, when I see you play, you get a little bit. I know when I've had you in sets before, you give me that little and you like get well angry. But like, I think over the time I've had you, like you've always been very level-headed with. You don't get too high on emotion, you don't get too low. And why is that so important? Because I think that's something I'm trying to really learn as well.
I think one game I played when I was 16, it was against Barnsley on the Astro, and my agent had a massive pop at me, Chris Morgan, and he. So I got really emotional and not crying wise, like anger. And I was like, that was one game that I've always remembered and I didn't like about myself. And I was like being real, like overly aggressive. I was in a way being a bit too arrogant, and that's what brought me back down. And I just think after that, it was a bit like, right, you just got to keep your emotions calm. And I always believe that as soon as, when I play against players, I played against one recently. Obviously, I'm not going to name teams and names, but I had him on strings emotionally. Like he tripped me up and everything, like off the ball, and I was just like, mate, I've got you under my thumb here. And it's good to see, because he's looking at me going, why is he not like getting angry and frustrated? And it's just like,
you can play on that, can't you? Like
that's why you're like, right, 1-0, mate.
Yeah,
I've got you here.
Yeah, because like I say, on the reverse effect, if you're doing that more, like say as a defender as well, you know, as
you'll
an
start
attacker,
to lose
they're gonna
concentration.
and they might go, well, he's going to be aggressive.
Yeah, that's
whereas with you've got like, I'd say like a poker face. You can't really
inside I'm raging.
Yeah, inside you feel.
He tripped me up, and inside I'm like, I want to go
smash it.
Outside I'm like, I just got to keep my cool.
Love that. No, it's class, mate. And I think that's, again, I keep saying, like I say, your mentality side and your emotional side, I just think it's so in check. And I think technically aside, and obviously we know you're a fantastic player technically as well, but that has been a massive tool for you on it moving forward, that you've had 100%. Them traits to be able to have. So nice one. Right, we'll finish off. I've got you a little bit of this or that here. A bit of a funny one. All right.
Can I quickly also just mention about the family?
Oh yeah,
my girlfriend's family as well. Like they have been. Her mum follows me everywhere, and she's unbelievable.
Big support. No, it's nice that you throw that in, brother. Yeah, no, I know you like to see your partner. She's been mega with it. She plays
her family's as well. Unbelievable. Yeah, they all play. She thinks she's better and quicker than me.
A little bit of 1v1 up back garden.
Yeah.
Love that. So yeah, just a bit of a this or that. A bit of a funny one. Just want you to answer quickly and so just finish on this here for a bit of fun. So I'll put down first one: match day or training day?
Match day.
Easy that one, innit? Okay. Nike or Adidas?
Adidas. Ooh. I'm wearing Nike at the minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you're.
I go
a bit of both, didn't you? You used to be Adidas. I remember, like as a young kid, you had Adidas.
On brands, me. I don't stay with one.
You went through Puma at one point as well, didn't you?
I went through Adidas, then Puma, now Nike. It's gonna be next or something. I don't know.
Maybe you get a signed deal. Hopefully, they'll keep you on one boot there. Third one: scoring a screamer or megging your pal?
Scoring a screamer.
Oh yeah,
I've got to.
VAR or no VAR?
Oh,
big one, this, isn't it? Big talking point, mate. What do you reckon?
I'm gonna say VAR when used correctly.
Right.
Like when they halt decisions on like a nose that's offside, that's when I'm like,
it's a bit much, innit?
Yeah, it's a bit much. When they're like 5 yards offside and the ref ain't giving it, that's when I'm like, fair enough.
Yeah, and it should be quicker, shouldn't it? I think that's it.
Oh yeah, it's too long. It's way too long.
I know this is a really like one where we hear it all the time, but Ronaldo or Messi, and why?
Oh,
I need to tell me why as well.
So many arguments.
What do you think? Tell me what tops it for you.
Ronaldo.
Why?
Mentality.
Yeah.
How he like.
You do
Messi,
compare really well.
I do believe Messi's technically probably a better footballer.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Ronaldo's mentality and how he treats himself and everything. Obviously, I bet Messi does the same. That's why he's one of the best. But I don't know. I just have a side to Ronaldo.
I always look at, just like I say, he's off the pitch stuff as well. Just mental, innit? He's just built like
some right pelters for that. I bet from him.
Yeah. Ice bath or sauna?
Either one. These are hard. These.
Oh, an ice bath. I've had
Depends what mood I'm in. If I've done a run in, it's red hot ice bath.
Oh really? How do you take them? You're like,
you don't.
I can just see you like flapping hands a bit.
We were in York and someone flicked ice water whilst I was in the bath, and I've just jumped out and I've shoved him. I nearly started fuming.
Fuming. So which one then?
Ice bath. Yeah, I've got to.
Home game or away day?
Home.
Home.
Hate away days, man. As weird as it sounds.
Can't
beat playing in front of your fans.
And then last one I've put 1v1 defending or big recovery tackle. Like a last ditch tackle or a 1v1.
Oh, recovery tackle. Because I don't know, it's just better, innit? Like doing a slide tackle that just trips someone up and just won the ball, better, innit?
Giving him a proper good tackle. Yeah, I think that's in you. Mate, it's been class. I've really enjoyed that, honestly. It's been brilliant. I think obviously from my perspective, I know you a little bit more, but I just think people watching this are going to take a lot in from your journey. And I think, what you've said and how you approach not just the game, but your life, how you talk about your family, how you talk about, your approach to just training. Nothing's ever wasted. And I think that's such a good thing. I'm looking forward to seeing you progress. It will be, EFL will happen. I fully believe that. And I look forward to this year.
Just got to keep valuing everything.
That's it, brother. Top man. Great stuff. Top man. Well, good that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good that.
I enjoyed that.